everyone, Jacquie Edwards here. Thank you so much for joining me. So today I've got a great topic. Is rent to rent illegal? Now this is a massive question, especially for lots of the doubters out there. So when you go maybe to networking meetings or kind of talk to, other maybe just getting started property investors, or even some people that have been investing in property for quite a long time and think they know everything, and you mention rent to rent, you get a lot of funny looks. And lots of people are like, oh, that's dodgy, that's illegal, you can't do stuff like that. And I'm here to say it is not illegal as long as you are doing it correctly. Now, there are lots of ways to make pretty much anything out there illegal if you don't follow the right rules, the right processes, the right steps. Pretty much anything can be illegal. The same with rent to rent. There are people out there that are total cowboys. They're doing it super dodgy. I actually took over a portfolio of properties from a family who had somebody that was doing rent to rent for them that was pretty dodgy, not doing it all properly. They hadn't registered any tenant deposits. They were actually getting around the council licensing requirements. They were telling the council, oh yeah, there's 6 people living here. And when the council came to inspect, they removed extra mattresses from the room. When we took over, we had a little chat with the tenants, and the tenants, it was a mess when we took over. So we asked the tenants, how many people are living here? Because the owners didn't even know who was living in their property. There were no tenancy agreements. They hadn't been getting all of their rent for quite a while. The properties were in bad condition. So we went to the houses when we first took over, and we're like, all right, how many people live here? And, a couple tenants were in the kitchen. They're like, 6 of us. So I was like, oh, okay, great. Here's some forms to fill out that we need to get, your information and stuff. And it had my phone number on it. So we went away, got a phone call like 10 minutes later. And the girl was like, so just calling because actually there's 10 of us living in this house, but our old agent told us not to tell anybody that. I was like, oh my God, great. So then I had to go through and call the council and be like, look, the house is overcrowded. This is not our fault. We're going to work on, getting this all sorted. So long story short, there are ways to make rent to rent illegal if you're doing it the wrong way. That guy then got sued for fraud and to pay damages, and it was a mess with the owner. I didn't have to deal with that. I just had to deal with all those poor tenants that were like, oh my God, now what's happening? How is this all going to work? How is this going to affect our lives? So how can you do it properly? Now, it's not that hard. I've got a couple of books. This one here is the best one to get a hold of, the Rent to Rent Getting Started Guide. It's actually coming out on audiobook next month. So I've had lots of requests for that. So that is basically a step-by-step process of how you get your rent to rent business up and running and how you do it legally. So there are basics that you need to have. And most kind of legislative bodies are going to look at you like you're a letting agent. So you need to follow a lot of the same rules that letting agents follows. You need to be a member of a redress scheme. You need to, I really believe that you should have client money protection insurance. Now, there's some people that think you don't and some people that think you do. Again, I think to be safe and to make sure you're covered, because again, councils, most judges, solicitors, everybody else is going to be looking at you like you're a letting agent. You're managing a residential property. They're not going to get into the nitty gritty about what kind of contract are you using? How are you structuring everything? They're going to be like, look, you're managing that property for the owner. You're a letting agent. You need to be registered for this. You need to properly protect deposits. You need to have insurance for your business. So there's all kinds of things that you need to do to make sure that you are set up properly and legally. And I go through a lot of that in my book, basically step by step by step. You need to be using the right types of contracts. And again, I go through that in my book and my training courses and stuff, but definitely start with the book. So there's a couple of different kinds of contracts that people use with their property owners. Make sure you're using the right one for that owner's situation, for your situation, just to make things easy. And really, your contract only comes in if something happens, in the future, if something goes wrong. But you want to make sure that you are set up and structured properly. The type of contract you're using is also going to impact your taxes, possibly. So it could impact your VAT registration status once you get above a certain income. So it's really important to make sure you've got all those detailed business kind of setup and admin things done right. I know a lot of people want to really just jump in and be like, I'm going to do rent to rent and I'm going to go do the viewings and I'm going to take on all these properties and it's going to be super fun. And that's really great. I'm super excited that you want to go out and do those viewings and get started. But you really need to lay the groundwork first and set the foundation of your business to make sure you've really got a solid platform for you to build on as you grow. Because you can go out and you can get that first deal, but then you don't want to be managing that first deal and, trying to find, contractors to do a refurb, trying to find tenants, trying to decorate, trying to do all the things while you're still setting up your business. So, maybe you don't even have a bank account yet. You don't have your insurance yet. You don't have your redress scheme set up yet. So a lot of that stuff is just easier to do before you get started. And it only takes a couple of minutes. So you can spend kind of 10, 15 minutes a day and just plug away on the internet and get lots of this admin stuff set up. So I highly recommend that you do that to make sure your business is legal. Because again, rent to rent is totally legal. Rent to rent is basically, depending on what kind of contract you're using, but I like to use a commercial lease agreement. This is something that businesses have been doing forever. So a lot of companies, they'll rent their business premises. So if you go to the high street and talk to a shop that they're renting their premises, they're probably not renting it directly from the business owner. They're renting it from a bigger company that's then subletting it. So that bigger company is renting it from the owner or from another bigger company from another bigger company. So it just goes down the chain. So they're using these commercial lease agreements. It's been around forever. Universities do this. They'll rent a house for a long-term period from the property owner and put their students in it. So this isn't anything like brand new. You just need to make sure you set it up properly and do it right. So hopefully that's helped you. Check out my book if you need more information. Make sure you tune into everything on the YouTube channel and my website, renttorentacademy.co.uk. And I will see you again next week.